Beyond words, the architecture of social fluency. Welcome to my channel, Habit Compass. Today, we're diving deep into a totally fascinating topic, one that affects every single one of us, literally every single day. We're looking at the actual framework of how we connect with other human beings. You know, a lot of times we just think of charisma or social grace as this magic spell that some lucky people are simply born with. But what if it's actually a highly structured system? In this video, we're going to dissect the unspoken, completely invisible mechanics of human interaction. We're going to see how mastering this hidden architecture can absolutely transform the way you navigate your daily life.
So, let's consider texting versus real-life talking. We all know the comfortable, super convenient safety net of a text message, right? When you send a text, you are in ultimate control. You can type it out, delete the whole thing, rewrite it, and finally press that simple, easy send button only when you are perfectly ready. There's virtually zero immediate social friction. But real-life talking, wow, that is a remarkably dynamic, real-time, complex system. It's totally spontaneous. You don't get a backspace button in the real world. Face-to-face interactions require a completely different set of skills that go way, way beyond just the words you choose to say. It's honestly like speaking a different language entirely.
100. That is a staggering number. It's the number of hidden components that make up this forgotten language of social interaction. Social interaction isn't just about exchanging vocabulary. It is this massive, complex web made up of exactly these kinds of tiny, invisible components that we usually just ignore. Think about that for a second. While you're sitting there, busy trying to think of the absolute perfect next sentence to say, your body, your face, and your overall presence are transmitting dozens of other signals simultaneously. When we fail to recognize these 100 tiny components, well, we stumble. We create awkwardness without even understanding why. But when we actually become aware of them, that's when we unlock true social fluency.
Section 1. Anatomy of an interaction. Let's look at the execution plan.
So how do we actually understand this anatomy? Imagine stripping a conversation completely down to its bare, invisible mechanics. It's kind of like a video game developer tuning a character's sliders behind the scenes. When they create a realistic character, they don't just hand them a script of dialogue, right? They program dozens of sliders for things like posture, eye movement, personal space, and vocal pitch. Here we have our core variables: eye contact, body language, tonality, proximity, and finesse. Imagine two stick figures talking to one another, but their speech bubbles are totally empty. The communication hasn't stopped, it's just shifted entirely to these nonverbal variables. The words themselves, they're just the finishing touch. The actual foundation of the whole conversation is built right on top of these 5 pillars.
Now, eyes and hands dictate the initial feeling of an interaction before any words are even spoken. Seriously, let's really think about that. When you walk into a room, the arrows of attention point immediately to your visual anchors. Where are you looking? What are your hands doing? Are your hands open and relaxed, signaling safety and warmth? Is your eye contact steady, signaling confidence? Or is it darting around the room, which projects anxiety? Long before your vocal cords even vibrate, your eyes and hands have already written the entire introduction to the story of that interaction.
Next up is tonality, basically the music of your message. Think of this metaphorically as adjusting an equalizer or volume bar until it matches your specific social environment perfectly. If you're too quiet, you project insecurity or disinterest, and that makes the other person physically strained to connect with you. On the flip side, if you're too loud, you become overwhelming. You dominate the space and cause people to actually pull away. True social fluency requires finding that perfectly tuned middle ground. It's all about matching the energy and the acoustic requirements of the exact room you're standing in.
Section 2. The proximity dance. Let's talk about navigating spatial boundaries.
Now, this dance is perhaps the most visceral example of social friction you can experience, the absolute awkwardness of navigating spatial boundaries in real time. I mean, imagine stepping into an empty elevator, and the next person who gets in stands a mere 2 inches right next to you instead of moving over to the opposite corner. Your heart rate instantly spikes, right? It's a deeply ingrained biological dance. Look at how it naturally builds. Step 1, standing too close. Someone misjudges the spatial boundary. Step 2, the other person moves back. Now, this right here, this is the friction. It's a totally unspoken signal that a boundary was just crossed. Then we hit step 3, adjusting to the green zone. This is where the magic, the fluency, happens. A fluent communicator notices the other person stepping back, reads that friction, and instantly calibrates. They stop advancing and allow the distance to settle into that perfect, comfortable pocket of space where both people feel respected and fully engaged.
Section 3. Adapting to cultural patterns. The unique rules of the game.
Okay, so what exactly are cultural patterns? Well, they're the unique, unspoken behavioral norms dictated by a specific environment. To be a true social chameleon, you have to adapt. Because, let's be honest, the perfectly tuned volume in one room might be a complete disaster in another. For instance, the green zone for proximity in a bustling outdoor market in Tokyo is wildly different from the green zone in a super quiet office space in Helsinki. Or take eye contact. What's considered respectful and confident in New York might actually be perceived as aggressive or disrespectful in other parts of the world. Achieving true social fluency means you must observe, and then adapt, to the unique patterns and rules of the culture you are currently standing in. You really have to learn the local dialect of that unspoken language. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Which of the 100 components do you need to tune up in your own life? Are you mastering that proximity dance, or are you maybe accidentally causing friction? Are your eyes and hands telling the story you actually want them to tell before you even open your mouth to speak? Social fluency is an architecture, and just like any building, you can totally renovate and improve it. If you learned something new, subscribe to the channel for building better habits through navigating Compass, and share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.